everyone, good morning. Thank you so much for joining me in this short morning yoga practice to really set you up for a wonderful day. This is a full body slow flow stretch, and we are going to be using 2 blocks. So have them somewhere at the top of your mat. Great for all experience levels. And let's begin by standing up. We're just going to stretch through our calves, our ankles, and under the feet using the block. This is super simple. So standing at the top of the mat, you can just bring the ball of your right foot lightly pressing and place just on the top of that block. You can bring your hands to your hips and try to lengthen your tailbone down as you push down into that right heel until you feel a nice stretch through your right calf into your ankle. The more you can work on flexing your right foot, the more you'll feel this. Take some deep belly breaths in and out through your nose. Sometimes leaning forward can also deepen the sensation in this pose. And we'll release. Let's go do the same thing to the other side. So bringing your left foot to the block, resting the ball of the foot against it, and really curling those toes back, pushing down into your left heel, and really lengthening tailbone down, stretching up tall through your spine. Try not to slouch or round forward. You can close your eyes. Taking just a little bit of time for ourselves in the morning to set the tone for the day, to check in with ourselves, to see what's going on and how we feel in our bodies, what's on our minds. Take 3 more breaths here. Maybe leaning forward a little more to intensify the sensation. This can definitely be a very neglected part of our bodies. And let's go ahead and release, shake it out. Keep your blocks about shoulder width distance apart at the top of the mat. You can widen your feet towards the edges of the mat and fold on forward. Bend your knees as much as you'd like. And you can place your hands on the ground, holding onto your elbows, or maybe your hands on your blocks. Just trying to stretch through the back of our legs and decompress along the spine. Let your head be really heavy. Maybe turn your head side to side a couple times. And you can rock back and forth, or you can rock side to side, paying attention to where there might be tension. And bring your palms to the blocks if they're not there already, and really wrap your fingers. So my thumb and my little fingers are wrapping around the blocks. I'm spreading the other 3 fingers wide, pushing into the fingertips and knuckles, and we'll make our way to downward facing dog with our hands on blocks. This helps us get a little bit more of a lift. So as you walk the feet back, think of really pushing your hands into the blocks in order to press your chest towards your thighs. And you might need to change a little bit the spacing that you have with your legs and with your feet. Now that we do have the blocks, it changes a little bit the sensation of the pose. Just think of pushing back into your heels, really stretching out long through your arms. And looking forward, we'll step our right foot in between the blocks, in between the hands to the top of the mat, coming into our lunge pose. And you can bring your blocks up on their highest level, push your hands down and see if you can tuck the toes under, lift the back knee off the mat and melt your hips forward and down. Roll your shoulders back, open up through your chest. And I like to rock my weight back and forth here just to really get into my left hip. And pushing down into your right heel, straighten that right leg any amount and see if you're able to flex that front foot, curling the toes back as you fold forward. And your right knee might need to stay a little bent. That's perfectly fine. Let's find that deep lunge again. Bend into your front knee, melt your hips down, roll the shoulders back, open up through your heart. And that wide pyramid fold again, push into your right heel, flex through the toes, and fold forward. And a little bit of a challenge here. This is totally optional. We're going to come into plank pose. If you'd like to challenge yourself, you're going to keep your blocks on their highest level. Otherwise, you can just move the blocks out of the way and find plank pose in any way that is suitable for you. We're not here for very long. Just tapping in a little bit to that core strength. This is a different way of doing plank now that we have our hands elevated off the mat. One more deep breath in here, and then we'll step our left foot forward for our lunge on the second side. So keeping your blocks underneath your palms, my left knee is on top of my ankle. Melt your hips forward, roll your shoulders back, almost as if you're finding a little back bend in this pose. And I'm just gonna rock forward and backwards. And you can push down into your left heel to straighten the left leg, flex through that front foot, almost as if we were doing that same stretch we did at the beginning of class with the ball of the foot on the block. As you fold and curl in, try to take the weight out of your wrists. Be really kind to your joints. Coming back into that lunge, bend into your left knee, melt your hips down, open up through your chest. And pyramid pose, straighten the left leg and fold. And last time, either going into plank pose with or without the blocks. So the left foot steps back to meet the right, finding a nice long diagonal line from the crown of your head all the way back to your heels. And let's slowly lower the knees down, and you can move your blocks off to the side. And we'll work from a seated position from here. So almost as if you were coming into butterfly pose, but instead of having your feet together, you're going to widen them a little bit wider than your hips and really flex through your feet, pushing the knees open. I'm going to bring my hands to my heart here to help me push and lift my chest up. And we're just going to do a windshield wiper motion. So 2 90-degree angles in the knees, going from one side and then going over to the other, and really twist with your upper body as you rotate here. And if you need the extra support, you can always have your hands behind you instead. But as much as possible, we're trying not to slouch, not to round. And the next time you have your knees over to the right, so your right leg forward, you're going to hold here. So I have a 90-degree angle with my right leg, and I'm going to fold on down, maybe staying up high. If you'd like, you can use your blocks, maybe placing it under the forehead or underneath the chest, or you can just melt on down. We'll take 5 deep breaths here. So like a variation of our pigeon pose. This is what we would call deer pose in yin yoga. So check in to see what you need today. Maybe beginning to focus on a one-word intention. One more deep breath. And you can push your hands into the floor to slowly lift your upper body up. And before we go and do this to the second side, walk your hands behind you, almost at an angle here so that I'm pushing my left hip down. So just looking to stretch through that inner left thigh. You don't need to go too far back here in this pose. And lifting ourselves back up through to center, and we'll go and do this deer pose over on the second side. So you can lift the knees up and then drop over to the left. So I now have my left knee in line with my hip. I have a 90-degree angle through my left leg, and I'm gonna fold from here at any amount. So you don't need to go all the way down if this does not feel appropriate for your body this morning. Feel free to use your props, to use the blocks, or to just stay up on your palms. And breathing in and out through your nose. Notice if there's tension through your neck and through your upper arms. And let's push down into the floor to slowly rise on up and keep your legs exactly as they are. Just walk your hands behind you, almost like at a 45-degree angle, until you feel a nice stretch through that right hip and right thigh. And lifting back up, come through to center and just straighten both legs. So opening up into a straddle. Odds are, especially in the morning, we have a limited range of motion. So don't go all the way to the edge of your range. You can have your legs much closer towards one another. So just find whatever is suitable and comfortable to you here, and we'll come into a side body stretch. Left arm reaches up and over, big side bend here. Push down into your left hip, roll your left shoulder back, stretch out long through your left arm. Relax your neck, relax your head. And let's lift all the way back up. Second side, right arm this time reaches up and over. So really focusing on the side bending action, stretching along the side of your waist through your obliques, rather than folding forward. Lifting all the way up. This time, let's move into a forward fold. So I'm turning so that I'm facing over towards my right leg, and I'm folding down. I like to just let gravity pull me deeper into the pose. You might feel more comfortable being supported with the use of your blocks, stacking them any amount that feels good to you. We're only here for 5 breaths. And it's perfectly fine to bend into your knees or to bring the legs a little bit closer. Again, be gentle with yourself first thing in the morning. Let's walk our hands in to lift up, moving over to the second side. So facing over towards your left leg this time as you fold. You can choose a one-word intention for your day. Something that captures how you want to feel today, what you want to focus on. Let's lift all the way back up, and you can use your hands to help the knees bend. Just come to a comfortable seated position. You can be cross-legged or just like what I'm doing here, which is one leg kind of staggered in front of the other. We'll just twist before we close. Left hand to your right knee, right hand behind you, open to the right. So my hip bones are still facing forward. It's my upper body that's rotating. Without slouching here, stay long and tall. And release to twist to the other side. Right hand to your left knee. And same thing, hips face forward, shoulders face to the left. Coming all the way back through to center, close your eyes. Find a few moments of stillness. Noticing how your body feels now, what has changed as a result of this very short morning yoga flow. If you have an intention for your day, really hold it in your heart, and we'll bring our hands together, chanting Om together one time. Let's inhale to chant. Breathe in deeply. Om. Thank you so very much, everyone, for doing this morning yoga practice with me using blocks. I hope you feel a little bit more energized and more comfortable in your body overall. Thank you for practicing with me. Please subscribe. Let me know what your intention is, and hopefully I'll meet you tomorrow morning on the mat for a new practice.